Hello and namaskar, dear friends. Today we are going to do the second part of June 2021 paper. Okay, so let's start. First question for today's video is: cloud computing is a system delivering different types of services over number 1, the internet; number 2, the non-commercial space; number 3, identified networks of telephone; number 4, public corporations, non-cyber platforms. Cloud computing, where you store your data. So cloud computing is associated with the internet. Okay, it's quite easy. So next question is: which one of the following leads in the percentage of population or social media as per FICCI report 2020? Number 1, China; number 2, US; number 3, UK; number 4, India. So it is from FICCI report 2020. You should remember the latest data. Okay, if there is any FICCI report 2024 or 2023, so you should prepare that. So here the answer is People's Republic of China in the percentage of population on social media. Okay, next is the technique where brief fragments of shots are cut to exact rhythm against a musical beat or sound is: A. Cold cuts; B. Flash cutting; C. Jump cutting; D. Pop cutting. It is in video production part, editing technique, where we apply transitions and where a brief segment, a part of a shot are cut to exact rhythm against a musical beat or sound is called flash cutting. Okay, it is a sudden and quick cut from one clip to another, often used to convey a passage of time or to create a dramatic effect. The transition is so fast that it appears as a flash to the viewer, hence the name flash cut. You remember from 2000, now we come to 2024, the fast and the quick transition cut. Okay, flash cutting. So next is: who authored the seminal work The Photoplay, a Psychological Study? Number 1, Raquel Lindsay; number 2, Siegfried Krakauer, sorry for the pronunciation; 3, Hugo Münsterberg; 4, Rudolf Arnheim. This work is related to some film studies or cinema. Okay, so the correct answer is Hugo Münsterberg. The photoplay, a psychological study. Remember, this work is associated with Hugo Münsterberg. Next is: which among the following film critics developed connection between mise-en-scene and realism on the one hand and montage and expressionism on the other? A. André Bazin; B. Julia Kristeva; C. Christian Metz; D. Suzanne Sontag. So, uh, read all the film theories properly. Though I'm myself is not a good reader of films and film theories and all, but do have a idea what this mise-en-scene, expressionism, realism all about. So the correct answer is André Bazin, who established the connection between mise-en-scene and realism on one hand and montage and expressionism on the other. Okay. Next question is: the camera technique of directing the viewer to shift attention from one subject to another is called: A. Manual focus; B. Follow focus; C. Deep focus; or D. Rack focus. When you shift the attention between one subject to another, so it is called rack focus. This is where one subject in a scene, foreground or background, is in focus and gradually the focus changes to another subject in the scene. For example, if I'm standing here and my friend is standing here, first the camera focuses either on me or on my friend, then the focus shifted to the other person. Okay, this is called rack focus. It allows the cinematographer to put a dramatic emphasis on one subject and then change that emphasis to another. Rack focus. Next is: applied research aims at number 1, constructing a theory; number 2, finding out a variable; number 3, solving a specific problem; Or number 4, testing a null hypothesis mathematically. If you have read the types of research, then there is basic or fundamental research, and second type is applied research. So its aim is to solve a problem. Applied, which research, the results of which research are applied in real life in solving a specific problem. Next is longer period of exposure to an experimental stimulus minimizes number one, the simulatory effect, number two, the sleeper effect, number three, the replicatory effect, or number four, the selectivity effect. If we expose the experimental stimulus to a long time, so it minimizes the sleeper effect. So it is, what is this sleeper effect? It is a delayed increase in persuasion observed when the discounting cue, for example, non-credible source becomes unavailable or dissociated from the communication in the memory of the message recipients. Means, for example, if the the source becomes unavailable or the dissociated from the communication, like if you delay that source from the memory of the customers in, for example, in advertising, then the message takes longer time to persuade the customers to buy that product. So this is the delay. So how it can be minimized? Longer period of exposure to experimental stimulus. Okay. Sleeper, remember, sleeper is delayed, so it can be minimized by longer period of exposure. Next question is the area in which the null hypothesis is not accepted is known as number one, the region of exclusion, number two, the region of seclusion, number three, the region of isolation, or number four, the region of rejection. So when null hypothesis is not accepted, the area is known as the region of rejection. Okay. Next question. Oh, sorry. The detail about this is in hypothesis testing, the test procedure partitions all the possible sample outcomes into two subsets. The sample, in simple terms, the sample is partitioned into two subsets on the basis of whether the observed value of the test statistics is smaller than a threshold value or not. So the subset that is inconsistent with the null hypothesis is called acceptance region, where the null hypothesis is accepted. Whereas when the null hypothesis is not in consonance, then it is called rejection region or the critical region. If the sample outcomes fall into the acceptance region, then null hypothesis is accepted, and if it falls in the rejection region, then it is rejected, or the alternative hypothesis is accepted. Okay. Next question is summative evaluation deals with number one, ability assessment, number two, process evaluation, number three, implementation, or number four, impact. This summative evaluation, you might have read about this in your school days. Summative evaluation used to happen. It is a teaching or evaluation method after students have learned their content, their subject matter, then they are evaluated. There occurs a summative evaluation, and it tries to evaluate or measure the impact of the method. Summative evaluation is a type of evaluation that occurs at the end of a learning period or program. It assesses students' learning and whether they have met the established learning goals. It evaluates the effectiveness, that is, impact of a learning program, or to provide a final grade for a student's performance. For example, there's a paper for you about communication skills, and then for 6 months they have taught you this communication skills course or paper. Then after 6 months you are evaluated whether your communication skills are improved, or what you know about communication skills. There can be a written exam, practical exam, so the impact of that learning method is checked. Next question is the Buddhist approach to communication emphasizes aggressiveness, competitiveness, cooperation, non-violence, and mindfulness. And here are the options given. Try to apply your common sense here. Buddhist approach to communication. Even if you have not read about Buddhist communication, basically you know Buddha never propagated aggressiveness. So option A gets eliminated. Then you get to the 50-50 situation. and in 50-50 situation only B and D, C and D. C and D automatically gets correct, and we can check it also. Cooperation, non-violence, of course. Then we have to check between B and E. Now, competitiveness and mindfulness. Buddha, meditation, mindfulness. So correct answer is mindfulness. And competitiveness is a negative like communication. So we should avoid this. So cooperation, non-violence, and mindfulness. These are the correct answer. Okay. Next question. The social responsibility theory of mass communication includes. There are four normative theories. I hope you have read that. They are also given in Keval J. Kumar book. So they include balanced opinion, imposing self-regulation, strict government control, reflection of public opinion, or suppression of dissent. Negative statements or extreme statements, try to avoid them, eliminate them. So here if we see strict government control, C option, eliminate C option, and just by eliminating C, you can get the right answer A, B, and D. And you can check it also like balanced, A, balanced opinion, B, imposing self-regulation, not regulation from outside, but self-regulation. Then D, reflection of public opinion. Of course, the social responsibility theory, the press has a responsibility that it should reflect the public opinion. Then next, suppression of dissent. It could not be right now. You should not suppress the dissent. If people are not satisfied with government's work, the dissent should come out. So, okay, this could be solved easily. Next question is the major recommendations of the first press commission were abolition of state trading corporation, establishment of a press council, enactment of law for working journalists, setting up of a body for newspaper registration, restricting the government advertisements to electronic media. Now, even if you have not read, although I would suggest you to read properly about the press commissions as they are important, press committees, commissions, but just apply your common sense. Press commission, if you have read the introductory part or what a press commission is all about, what press commission of India is all about, so you know it is related to print media, especially for newspapers. It issues guidelines, how a newspaper should work and all that. So here, if we say press commission, major recommendation, what it can be, establishment of a press council. So B should be there in the option, and by this you can eliminate the two options. You can reach to a 50-50 situation. So here we say then B and C are correct automatically. We can check it out also. Enactment of law for working journalist. Of course, it can be true. So A and D, we have to check between A and D. Abolition of state trading corporation. Okay. Setting up of a body for newspaper registration. Press commission is related with newspaper. So, and it seems to be less appropriate answer. Abolition of state trading corporation. It has nothing to do with press commission. So B, C and D are the right answers. Okay. And if we see the option E, restricting the government advertisement to electronic media, why to restrict the government ads to electronic media only? What purpose would it serve? In common terms also, why? So we reach to the right answer like this. Next is according to Western scholars of developmental communication, traditional societies are marked by. So family focus, rural setting, customs and mores, participation, individuality. So if we see traditional societies, if you have not read developmental communication, although it is given in your syllabus, so if we just apply some mind, traditional society, first traditional societies are more customs and mores bound. Mores means like norms bound. So customs, C option should be in the option. So C, it is given in three options. Okay. Okay. Then family focus. Okay. Family focus can be there because they were the traditional societies, but they were participation in rural settings also. So I try to eliminate option E also, like individuality. They were more about communities. So by eliminating E, we reach to this one and two. We reach to the 50-50 situation. B and C are correct. B and C are correct. Rural setting and customs and modes are correct. Okay, now we have to choose between A and D. This might be confusing because family focus or participation, because they used to participate, of course, and family focus. But to me, Family focus seems more appropriate, but let's check the right answer. Okay, it is the correct answer. Family focus, rural setting and customs and mores. And how would we have reached to this? Because we were sure about customs and mores. So C, we saw that C is given in three options, but then individuality, we eliminated it. Then E, by eliminating E, we reached to the 50-50 situation. Then we had to choose between A and D. Then it is a risk, you can get it right or wrong, but family focus, of course, they were more family oriented. Okay, next, which of the following criticisms were accepted by the advocates of dominant paradigm? A, individuals as the locus of change. B, social regularity. C, ignoring cultural specificity. D, rejection of empiricism. E, overemphasis on the role of media. So criticism were accepted by the advocates of dominant paradigm. Dominant is modernizing paradigm. So okay, even if you have not read, so what could be the criticisms uh, about media? Okay, criticism, what are the criticisms? So of course they can ignore cultural specificity, we should not ignore, it can be the criticism. So C option should be there, but it is given in 4. Okay, then rejection of, just a second. Okay, individuals as the locus of change, let me check its right answer first. A, C and E. A, C and E. Okay, 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 let me tell you. Yes, criticism, it can be the criticisms, as I said, ignoring cultural specificity, then overemphasis on the role of media. Okay, because uh, if we overemphasis on the role of media, it can be wrong. So E option we should take in mind. Okay, then individuals as the locus of change, it only concentrated on the individual. Okay, you should read the dominant paradigms properly. Then only you can answer this question properly. Okay, you can eliminate B actually. Social regularity, it is not a part of dominant paradigm because you will not read about it in this. So B, by eliminating B, you can reach to the two options. Then C and E. Okay, you have to choose between A and D here. Then A and D, rejection of empiricism and individuals as the locus of change, then you can take a risk. Okay. The perspective of dominant paradigm emerged from the concept of development to be modernization. So it evolved after World War II. Central idea was that uh, development, we can solve the development problems by modernizing the underdeveloped countries. So this was a thought of dominant culture, or we can say that majority at least believe this, capitalism and embracing modernity to be answer to development issues. So in modernization, in dominant paradigm, capitalism and embracing modernity were taken into account. Next question is, the major guidelines for the coverage of crime news are checking the source, cultivation of news source, exaggeration of fatalities, taking law and order agencies into confidence, conducting parallel investigation to police inquiry. Try to apply common sense. While you are covering a crime news, what should you do? First, see, eliminate the options, extreme options, negative options, exaggeration of fatalities. No, you should never exaggerate the fatalities, means death. If two persons have died, you should write two persons, not four persons. Okay. So eliminate. So C option eliminated, gets eliminated, and just by eliminating C, C, and C, you can reach to the right answer A, B, and D. But let's check the other options also. A, checking the source. B, cultivation of new source. It seems to be inappropriate, little inappropriate, but because this exaggeration of fatalities was completely eliminated, so we reached to this. But D option is correct, taking law and order agencies into confidence. Of course, without taking the police and other agencies into confidence, you should not report anything. Then E, conducting parallel investigation to police inquiry. No, never you should do this. A reporter should never indulge in any investigation like this. So E option also gets eliminated. Okay. Next is, what are the new trends in the designing of newspapers? Application of traditional divisions, use of different software exclusively for designing, more and more colorful pictures, adoption of total design concept, preference to bold type for Text composition. Okay. So more and more colorful pictures we are seeing these days to attract the viewers. Even in the classified advertisements, they are adding colors. So C can be the right answer, but C is given in all the options. Okay. Um, okay. Use or adoption of total design concept. It can be the right option because you should keep in mind the total design, not the individual fragments. So D option should be correct. So D is given in two options. Okay, now we reach to the 50-50 situation, 2 and 3. Now C and D correct. B and E, we have to choose between B and E. Preference to bold type for text composition or use of different software exclusively for designing. Okay, I would go with B. Use of different software exclusively for designing. So yes, of course, it is the right answer. So B, C and D is the correct answer. Of course, this could be if you have marked this, then it could be wrong, but there is no negative marking. You should have taken the risk. Preference, if you have worked in a newspaper, then you know that there is no preference to bold type for text composition. So you can know this. But if you don't know this, then you can take a risk. Okay, and application of traditional divisions, it gets eliminated because traditional new, it is asking about new trends and they are not applying the traditional divisions, they are in fact innovating the new divisions. Which of the following are essential characteristics of a slogan? When you write a slogan, what are its essential characteristics? It should be brief, it should be built on multiple ideas, use rhythm and rhyme, it should explain the product, easy to remember. Here it is talking about the advertisement slogan. Even if you have written a slogan in your school days or during your masters or bachelors, if you have ever participated in a slogan writing competition, you know that it should be built on a single idea. You are given a single theme. Like if you are given a Beti Bachao or empowering girl child, so you should write a slogan on one idea. So B gets eliminated. B B B. Now you reach to the right answer. A C E. Okay, let us check these options. It should be brief, of course. A slogan is meant to be brief. Then C, use rhythm and rhyme. It should be rhythmic and rhyme. It should have rhyme, some rhyme. Then it should explain the product. It will not explain the product because it is a slogan. It is to emphasize. It is written to attract the customers, not to explain. The body of the ad campaign explains, not the slogan. And it is easy to remember. Okay, ठंडा मतलब कोका कोला, like this. Next is, which are the basic functions of advertising in society? Marketing function, education function, cultural function, political function, social function. So this can be little confusing, but if you eliminate option D, political function, an ad is not for performing any political function. So eliminate option D. D gets eliminated. So you are left with three other options. Okay. Then, of course, cultural and social function it performs. Culture, it shapes our culture. It social culture. Just a second. Sorry, let me check it again. Marketing function, of course. A option A will be there in the option A B A B. Then we have come to the 50-50 situation. A B C or A B E. A correct, B correct. We have to choose between C and E. C and E. If we have to choose between C and E, then social function would come first. Okay, function. So marketing, education, and social function A, B, and E. See, political function I discarded it completely at the first go because political function ad is not for political functions. Of course, a political ad people frame as this is the election year, this is the election time. People are making political advertisements, but they are not for performing any political function. So it gets eliminated. But when we were stuck between in choosing cultural function and social function, so society, an advertisement is basically for society, and if you they so these three options should be correct. Okay. Sometimes it can be confusing. I'm admitting it and I'm confessing it because I have given this paper in which I have cleared JRF. This was the paper, and so I might have confronted such confusing options also. So here is what we how we perform in the exam hall. This decides our fate. Next is, which of the following are advantages for corporate PR practitioners? Individualistic presence, unavailable for other departments, team membership, knowledge of the organization, economical to the organization. Now, calm down and apply your common sense, apply your mind. Corporate public relations practitioners. Here, what the question is trying to ask, that if PR professionals are present in your company, there are two types of PR professionals. Means there are two ways in which you can hire. There can be in-house PR agencies which are present in your company, or you can hire them outside. So if the question is asking if they are present in your company, then what is the benefit to you? So first is individualistic presence. Okay, we will see it. So first, eliminate the negative or extreme options, unavailable for other departments. So a PR is for a company. So it should keep in confidence all the departments. So it will not be unavailable. So by just eliminating B option, you can reach to the option C, D, and E. C, team membership, knowledge of the organization, economical to the organization. See, team membership will be there, of course. A PR works as a team with your company staff. Knowledge of the organization, of course, it will have more knowledge about the organization as it is an in-house PR. And then, if we see individualistic presence or economical to the organization, if we were confused, but by eliminating just B option, we could reach to the right answer. And they are not individually present; they are present as a team. Okay. Next is, the success of public relations in any organization depends on top-down communication system, commitment by management, centralized policy system, two-way communication system with different publics, keeping distance from manager. Eliminate the negative sentences or and the extreme sentences which do not make sense. Negative here doesn't mean which contains negative statement. Negative here means which do not relate to the question that is being asked. Success of public relations. When will be a PR or professional or a PR campaign will be successful? If we see option E, keeping distance from manager. A PR professional works in close cooperation with the manager, not in distance with him. So eliminate option E. By doing this, we reach to a 50-50 situation. So BC correct. Commitment by management, centralized policy system, they are correct. We do not have to check them. We have to choose between A and D. Top-down communication system or D, two-way communication system with different publics. So of course, it is a two-way communication system. If you have read the PR or a public relations definition, so what is it? It is the process of establishing a two-way communication system between an organization and its publics. So the correct answer is B, C, and D. Okay, like this, you reach to the right answer because you can get confused between top-down communication system or centralized policy system. Okay, then we do not have to check the centralized policy system. Next option, question is, the key elements in a successful annual report are. Annual report, it is an important question. It is repeated in many years questions. Okay, so read about what is an annual report and what it includes. So here, okay, then we can also apply common sense. Corporate profile, financial highlights, value deducted statements, corporate goal, political climate analysis. An annual report is about a company, which tells about the company's activities and about its overall, financial health or other things. So E, political climate analysis, gets eliminated. Eliminate option E, then we are left with three options, 1, 2, and 3. So okay, then it tells about corporate profile and corporate goals. D option should be there. Okay, corporate goals. It an annual reports. You can compare it with like a budget. So when a budget is presented, like our annual budget, which is presented in February. So there we tell the government tells about its goals, what it wants to do in the future. So like this you can see in an annual report of a company, it tells about corporate goals. So D option should be there. Then we reach to the 50-50 situation. Then B and D gets correct. B, financial highlight and corporate goals, gets correct. And we have to choose between C and A and C. Then corporate profile or value deducted statements. So corporate profiles, it tells about the corporate profile. You should, so that's why I'm telling you that you should read about what an annual report is. So the correct options are corporate profile, financial highlights, and corporate goals. Next question is, which of the following are considered privileged document by courts in India? News copy prepared by media, annual reports of private limited companies, state secrets, correspondence between government and its officers regarding state security, sources of information collected and listed by government employees. Privileged documents, which of the following a court in India would consider a privileged document? So just apply your common sense here. News copy prepared by media, it is in public domain, so it is not a privileged document. Eliminate option A. A gets eliminated. Now we have B and D as correct. C and D as correct. C, state secrets, correspondence between government and its officers regarding state security. This, they also sound correct, and they are otherwise correct also. Okay, C and D. We have B and C. Sorry, we have to choose between. Just a second. What we were saying, that A gets eliminated. A is eliminated. A is eliminated. Now we have to choose between option 2 and 3. C and D are correct. Okay. Yes. Yeah. We have to choose between B and E. Annual reports of private limited companies or sources of information collected and listed by government employees. So the government employees, their sources of information are more privileged. Private, I mean, they are more, they are confidential. So the correct option is state secrets, correspondence, and this sources of information by government employees. Okay, this is the correct answer. And this is under a privileged document is given under Indian Evidence Act 1872. This act, remember this. Next is, who directed the film Sadgati based on the short story by Munshi Premchand? Shyam Benegal, Satyajit Ray, Mani Kaul, Govind Nihalani. All these directors are important, and one of the important directors from the perspective of UGC NET is Satyajit Ray. So read all the films he has directed. So Sadgati is a film based on a short story by Munshi Premchand, and it is directed by Satyajit Ray. This film is a vicious indictment of the caste system. It talks about caste system and its, uh, you know, manifestations. So next question is, which of the following lead to the contempt of parliament? Which of the following acts will lead to contempt of parliament? Abuse not related to the duties of the member of parliament, personal attack of a member, publication that affects the dignity of parliament, publication reflecting upon the character and proceedings of the parliament, publication imputing contempt or ridicule of the house. So contempt of parliament basically deals with the contempt of the house. So anything that interferes in the proceedings of the parliament, this is a contempt against the parliament. So if we see publication that affects the dignity of parliament, it seems to be true. C option, where is C option? It is given in 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Then publication reflecting upon the character and proceedings of parliament, anything uh, talks about, that interferes in the proceedings of parliament, also is a contempt. So D option should be there. C and D should be there. So C, D, there is given in 2 and 3. Now we are 50-50 at 50-50 point. So we have to choose between B and E. Personal attack of a member or publication imputing contempt or ridicule of the house. So it is more uh, about the contempt of the house. So C, D, and E are the correct options. Although, see here, abuse not related to the duties of the member of parliament, not related. If it is not related to duties of MP, then it is not a privilege of the member, then it is not a contempt. So A option gets eliminated in itself in the first go. So when you reach to the 50-50 situation, you have to choose between B and E. B may seem to be true, but if it is talking about ridicule or contempt of the house, it is more appropriate. Okay. So C, D, and E are the correct options. Next is, which among the following factors differentiate media industries from most manufacturing concerns as per Levine and Beckman, 1988. Perishable commodity, work specialization, lower visibility, types of employees, types of organizational structure. What is the difference between media industry and other manufacturing industries? So of course, see, types of employees in media would be different. So D should be there in the option. D, it is given in 1 and 3 option only. Okay, so we reach to the 50-50 situation. D and E are correct. D and E, types of employees and types of organization structure. Of course, its organizational structure would be different, D and E. Then we have to choose between A and C, perishable commodity, or C, lower visibility. C, a media product is perishable. That what is making a news today at this moment will not be the news tomorrow. So it is perishable commodity. Whereas if you buy, for example, a toothpaste, it will not get expired maybe for 6 months or 10 months or for 1 year. So it differentiates it from other manufacturing things. So A, D, and E are the correct options. A, D, and E. If you look at the work specialization occurs in both the industries. Okay, so it would not be the correct option. Anyway, we got it right. Levine and Beckman identified 5 characteristics that differentiates media industries from other type of businesses: perishable commodity of the media product, creative employees, organizational structure, societal role of the media. That it is more concerned about the society. Public interest is the main motive. Awareness, influence, blurring of lines separating traditional media. Okay, there is much less difference between different types of media. Okay, these were the characteristics that were given by Levine and Beckman. Next is Tom Wolfe. He is a important figure. Okay, remember him. Identified which of the following devices new journalists borrowed from literary fiction. Which of these devices new journalists? He has also written a book or work called New Journalism. So in that, what he was is telling is that journalists have borrowed some elements from the literary fiction literature. Then which of the elements he is talking about? So first person point of view, avoiding behavioral aspects, telling the story using scenes, dialogues, third person account. So if you have not read it, it might be difficult for you to answer. But if you see in fiction, what is the main thing? Telling the story using scenes. Literature tells the story. So C option should be there. So we get to the 50-50 answer, and A and C are correct. Just a second. A and C. Okay. A and C are the correct options. And then D. We have to choose between D and D. Avoiding behavioral aspects and D, dialogues. Dialogues should be there. As in literature, there are dialogues. For example, in plays, there are dialogues. So it can be the right answer. A, C, and D. But let me tell you why I was confused about first person point of view. The option should be here first. No, not first. It is a third person point of view. In literature, Tom Wolfe, according to Tom Wolfe, new journalists have borrowed from literary fiction third person point of view, not first. Okay. So A, C, and D would be if there is third person point of view or there is third person account. See, E option should have been there. But what can we do? Because we were sure about C and C, then we got to the third and fourth, and we had to choose between B and D. So dialogues was the most appropriate, so we reached to the right answer like this. Okay. Otherwise, it should be third person point of view. Wolf describes the new genres as new journalism that reads like a novel because it utilizes 4 techniques used by novelists. Okay, what the 4 techniques used by new journalism are: specific scenes, dialogues, third person point of view, and description. in which subjects' clothing, manners, eating, living room are as important for writer as the subject's words. So these four elements have been borrowed by new journalism. Next is main uses of internet are ignoring files, removing virus, interactive gaming, downloading files, increased personal health. See, we are talking about negative effects of internet these days. So E option should not be there. E gets eliminated. Now we are left with these three. Ignoring files. This is a negative thing. Internet, why an internet would ignore a file while there are so many files on internet? So eliminate option A also. Then we get to the right answer C and D. Interactive gaming and downloading files. Of course, if you check it, then also interactive gaming and downloading files is the use of internet, but if you say removing virus is not the main use of internet. Okay, so like this you can get the right answer. Next question is I track studies of Pointer Institute and Stanford University reveal which of the following online reader characteristics. So an eye track study of by Pointer Institute and Stanford University was done, in which the eye track like the eye movement of online readers were uh, researched or they were studied. So what the study revealed, the question is asking, people will read a story online thoroughly if they are interested. Blurbs are the most important methods to attract readers. Alternate story forms such as timelines, fact books help readers. Readers give preference to the image more than the text. Presence of fact books intimidates reading. Okay, if we see option A, people will read a story online thoroughly if they are interested. This seems to be true. We read a story only when we are interested. So A option should be there. So we get to the 50-50 situation 1 and 4. Now AB gets correct. Blurbs are the most important methods to attract readers. Even if you don't know what are blurbs, you can get it right like AB and AB. We are done with it. So we have to choose between C and D option. Alternate story forms such as timelines, fact books help readers. If there is a box which is telling about its timeline, or there is a fact box which is telling a fact about the story, it helps readers. Okay, let us check the option D also. Readers give preference to the images more than the text. You can get confused because you may see that in online story, maybe images are more important, but this is not correct. The correct option is A, B, and C. People will read a story only if they are interested. Blurbs are the most important method to attract readers. Blurbs are short story means summarize. If you summarize it, alternate story form like timelines, fact books help readers. Okay, so readers give preference. So it is not the correct answer. Let me tell you more about this. A blurb is a short piece of writing that describes or summarizes something longer and more complicated. So if we see in online whenever we are reading something, if something summarizes that story, we are more attracted to that because we get to know if it will interest us or not. Okay, so it is correct. Now Pointer's eye track studies of reading online found that many web readers were drawn first to dominant headlines rather than photos. If the headline, that is the text, attracts that, not images but text, that they read from left, and that they start reading from left to right, and that smaller type promoted focused reading while larger type encouraged scanning. Smaller type means like font. If it is written in smaller type, then they would read it, but if it is written in bigger type, then they would just scan the story. It would, if you want the readers to scan it, then you should use the larger types. Okay, so the last question for today's video is, which among the following films were part of the French New Wave movement? It is a question from the film theories. Okay, so French New Wave movement, it is very important. So which of the films were the part of this New Wave movement? Breathless, Jules and Jim, Grand Illusion, Quo Vadis, Hiroshima, Mon Amour. For this you should read the French New Wave cinema movement, and then you will get to know that Breathless, Jules and Jim, and Hiroshima Mon Amour is the right answer. See, New Wave is a film movement that rose to popularity in late 1950s in Paris, France. So when it came in 1950s in France. New wave movement. What was the idea? To give directors full creative control over their work, how they direct the film, and not to impose anything on them, allowing them to favor improvisational storytelling, like they can improvise on the story, not direct the story as it is written by the writer, instead of strict narratives. Okay, I hope you get to know what is a new wave, what was the new wave film movement. Okay, so some of the great French New Wave films were 400 Blows, Hiroshima Mon Amour, Breathless, Les Bons Femmes, Shoot the Pianist, Lola, Adieu Philippine, Cleo from 5 to 7, The Fire Within, Les Mépris, Umbrellas of Cherbourg, Claire's Knee, Celine and Julio Go Boating. See, you might not remember all the years, but read these films again and again. It is very important. This French New Wave is very important. So read all these films. If the question comes, then you can identify the right answers. Okay. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the learning. If you find it helpful, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good day.